want to call her I don't know. I don't know what I want to call her, but I don't want to call her by her actual name. Also, a quick note, if you hear screaming, if I can't edit it out, that's my family's bird. Chapter 19. I finished the book. I loved it. Good hello, friends. Am I starting yet another book without finishing the others? Yes. February's book of the month for me was Georgie All Along by Kate Claiborne. I don't really know why I picked this one. I think it was just the most intriguing out of all of them. Let's go ahead and read the synopsis together again. In this heartfelt tale of one woman's quest to reinvent herself, the acclaimed author of Love Lettering and Love at First delivers a poignant, witty reflection on how the hopes, dreams, and stories from our past shape our future. This sounds right up my alley. It sounds very much like a book I need to read right now. I am very much so finding myself. However, I also want to kind of challenge myself to finish the other books that I'm reading as well. I currently have 2 reads that I've been in the middle of for quite some time, but they're more self-help slash nonfiction slash just books that I've been reading slowly. One of them is The Power of One More by Ed Millett. I'm a good chunk of the way through this. I should be able to finish this today, no problem. I've really been enjoying this in terms of rewiring my brain a little bit. And then the other one is the book that I'm reading for work, and I've been reading it for quite some time, but I need to finish it because I need to start the other one. So we'll see what happens, but I'm excited to just kind of dive in to a book that I know absolutely nothing about. Has little bees on it. This book might be the one for me. Let me set the scene a little bit for you. We have Georgie Mulcahy, who I fucking hate this last name just because it's difficult for me to like. I want to call her I don't know what I want to call her, but I don't want to call her by her actual name. So Georgie. We have Georgie and her best friend Belle, and she's back in town after essentially getting fired from her LA personal assistant job because the person that she was working for decided they wanted to reinvent themselves and like go on a personal isolation or whatever. The real kicker here is, and the reason I say this surprise book is for me, is because this is going to be a close proximity romance. You guys know, and if you don't know, now you know, I love a good close proximity romance if it's done right. And from the dynamic between Georgie and Levi Fanning, which again, I hate his last name. I don't like the last name because Fanning, like Eli Manning, Fanning, Levi, it's uncomfortable. The dynamic that the two of them have already, considering they don't really know each other, just getting to know each other, they have to kind of live together because of a lovely little miscommunication from Georgie's father, who said they could both stay at the house while they were gone. I am only 5 chapters in, which is about 70 pages, and I just have such a good feeling about this book. Like, it's setting itself up very nicely, so I'm extremely hopeful that it's going to be good. I decided that I was going to take notes for this one, and usually when that happens, it's gonna be a good book. Or it's something that's gonna want to stick with me. I'm excited for this reading vlog, and for this book, and for this experience. Good job, book of the month. I also remembered why I chose this book, and it's because I sat down, and when I was picking my book, I actually read the excerpt, which is something that Book of the Month always does, but I just never use. The first page and a half of the book was the excerpt, and I was very here for it, so I'm excited. Also, a quick note, if you hear screaming, if I can't edit it out, that's my family's bird. We have a bird, and he's the worst, and he screams at all the worst times, and I've never addressed it because I've done really good about editing it out, but I have a feeling I'm not gonna be able to, so. But Georgie All Along, this is gonna be good. Like this is literally all I've read. There's still, this book is 331 pages long, And it's, oh, I forgot to mention, it's dual point of view. So both Georgie and Levi have their own chapters. And I'm not gonna lie, from the first time we switched to Levi's perspective, which is when he entered the house and met her properly for the first time. They had a run prior to this, but I was a little bit confused. Even though I read Levi, like I read his name, I knew it was his chapter. I just think the voices didn't read as distinct as I would have liked them to from the get-go. But again, it was the first introduction to his perspective, so I think I'll have a better handle on it later on throughout the book. But I am so excited to keep reading this. Like, I can't wait to learn more about Georgie and Levi's dynamic. You know, what happens with this it's not a fanfic. She called it a friend fic because it was like all of these hopes and dreams and ambitions that she had for when she was in high school. So I'm really excited to see what happens in this book. I almost forgot to mention that Levi also has a dog named Hank, and I can't remember if they said what kind of dog Hank was, but all I'm picturing is this cute little like blue nose pit bull with like the floppiest little ears and just the happiest little chunk. Like, I love a dog in a story that only bonds people together, and I just love that Levi loves his dog so much. That is all. All right, y'all, back at it again with my interrogation light. I am loving this book. I'm loving this dynamic. You can see it's dark out now. We just had dinner. Me and my family just had dinner. And I came back upstairs and kept reading. And I just love Levi as a character. Like, he's gonna be damaged. He's gonna have his issues, whatever. He is such a head ass. It's so funny. Like, I have not stopped smiling while reading this book. Even during their like tough points, it's like they're both just like little puppies like falling in love. And I'm so here for it. I'm so here for it. I haven't read a book where they're like, it's just like this organic, sweet little falling in love, and I love it so much. Like, they don't hate each other. I feel like a lot of the romances that I've been reading lately, at some point the main love interests like hate each other. There's some weird conflict, but between the two of them it's like they genuinely are becoming friends first and then just kind of obsessing over one another, and it's making my heart flutter. And like, I love it. I love it so much. I was gonna sit and like play some video games, but I kind of just want to keep reading, so I'm going to keep reading until maybe I hit a good stopping point for the night. Like I said, it is 7 o'clock. It's Saturday though, so it's like whatever. Like, am I spending my Saturday cozied up and reading? Absolutely. Tomorrow is Super Bowl Sunday, so I'll try to read in the morning, and then I'm gonna go to the gym, and then essentially it's Super Bowl time. Like, there's gonna be a lot of things happening between the morning when I have time to read, which I will be reading tomorrow morning. Like 6 o'clock in the morning, I'm gonna wake up and I'm just gonna start reading because I am obsessed with this book right now. It's just doing everything right. Oh my god. So, small spoiler here. As if it isn't obvious enough, Georgie and Levi are gonna get together eventually. Amongst the bucket list items that they're doing together, one of them was to get drunk and watch this zombie movie. And of course, Levi was like, yeah, sure, of course I'll do that with you. So they're having movie night in the living room, acting like they're 15 again, like sitting on separate ends of the couch, start making out. Things start getting a little hot and heavy. No sex. They get a little hot and heavy. And then Georgie's parents walk in. And the both of them are looking at each other like, I can't look at you, you can't look at me, we can't let your parents know that we just, yep, parents are not gonna find out. This book is hilarious and it's so ridiculous and I love it so much. It is now 9 p.m. I am on page 224. I have about 100 pages left of this book. I love it so much. I'm really tired, but I want to finish it. So I'm going to try and finish it because it'd be really cool if I can read a book in a day. In a couple of hours, really. I love this. I love it so much. I've shifted locations because I just read the most heartfelt chapter. It's hitting very close to home right now. Chapter 19 is the most beautiful culmination of what friendship really is and what it means to continue to find yourself even when you think like life is supposed to be perfect. Like, we always talk about timelines and that there are specific life goals that an individual wants to achieve within said timelines. Like, I want to have the perfect job by the time I'm 26 and I want to be engaged by the time I'm this and I want to have my first baby by, you know, generally speaking, people have these goals. And what's crazy is this chapter is really just like these fears of life continue at every stage regardless of if you think you made it or not. But the thing that makes this chapter so special is just how Georgie and her best friend Annabelle handle this moment together and handle these emotions and handle each other. It's just so good and it's so sweet. Again, this is one of those things where I'm reading this book at a really good point in my life, but also these characters are like 28, 29, 30. They're in their late 20s, entering their 30s, and it's very comforting and very assuring, although fictional, just to hear this perspective. And like, I want to cry because it's beautiful. Like, it's written so well. Again, it's holding a very specific place in my heart right now in terms of how it's being addressed, which is why I think I'm reacting to it like this. But so good. I cannot wait to finish this book. What is this vlog turning into? Georgie literally just said, I'm in love. He's a person who is worthy of love. Look, all I know right now is that this book is causing so many emotions for me. I'm about 50 pages away from being done. I did it. I finished the book. And I loved it. I will have more thoughts when I'm not a crying, sobbing mess in the morning. It is time to wrap up this reading vlog, something that I was not expecting to happen in less than 24 hours, less than 12 hours, nor was I looking to find my next 5-star read. I was extremely impressed by Georgie all along for a multitude of reasons. However, I will say this is an extremely character-driven novel. I don't know how much plot really is in the book aside from Georgie really just trying to check off these bucket list items with Levi by her side. And even then, those bucket list items don't really take on too much of a precedent to the story. It's just like little things here and there. It is primarily a character-driven novel, like I said, but I think these characters are really lovable, and I think there's a lot more to them than I think this initial base level. I did spend some time yesterday after I finished the book reading some of the 1 and 2 and 3-star reviews and trying to understand why. And a lot of it is because, again, it's character driven, it's not super plot driven. And some people saw red flags in Levi, but I've read some like red flag characters and Levi is nothing in comparison. He's just damaged and doing his best. As you get to fall in love with these characters, you get to fall in love with them finding themselves. I found one reviewer who was upset about the fact that they're like in their 30s and these are the kinds of things they're complaining about. But like I said last night, I found it really comforting and really humbling to see people in their late 20s, early 30s really kind of going through it, because I think it really speaks to the, I guess, overall experience now, where, you know, maybe 15, 20 years ago, if you were in your 30s and you didn't have your shit together, people would look down upon you. Now it's a little bit more comforting. See people who are also kind of delaying these big moments in their lives to their 30s. I gave this book a 5-star. If that wasn't obvious enough, if I really wanted to like find the flaws in it, I would, but I just think this book spoke volumes to friendship, to relationships, to finding yourself, and just trying to understand the world around you while trying to see where you fit into all of that. So I am really, really pleased with this book. I was so caught by surprise, and you guys know I'm kind of in this romance era for whatever reason, but this one was more than just a romance novel to me, and I think that's why I loved it so much. And especially coming from the absolute low that was People We Meet on Vacation. If you don't follow me on Instagram, you know I absolutely freaking hated that book. And then going into Georgie all along, like, if you enjoy romance, if you enjoy just characters who are getting to understand themselves, the world, and just this discovery of human nature, like, I think you'll really enjoy this book. If we have pretty similar romance reading tastes, I think you'll enjoy this book. The best way I think that I can describe this in terms of the vibe is that one movie with Miley Cyrus and Liam Hemsworth. I forget what the name of the movie is. I'll throw it up on the screen here. In terms of the atmosphere, it's a coastal town on the East Coast. There's a family in, like, I don't know. It feels like a feel-good, cozy book that has its own dramas, but there's no, like, I don't know how to describe it other than if there was any sort of miscommunication in this, it was addressed almost immediately. Two adults got into an argument. They took their time apart to just breathe, and then they came back together in order to have a conversation that was mature and they understood their feelings. Like, I just appreciate this book for all that it is. That is it for today's video. I love this book. I am so happy with my experience with it. It was a super fast read. Book of the month, you've done it again, and I'm extremely happy to say that I have now 2 all-time favorite books from Book of the Month. And consequently enough, they live together on my bookshelf, which I think is perfect. So friends, that is it for today's video. If you enjoyed, please make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And until then, I'll catch you next time.